I love helping people, and I love helping them, see my journey. So it really feels good. Like even now, today, I have an intern with me. She's 16 years old, and she's interested in getting into beauty. And I'm pouring into her as much as I can. So it feels good, and I feel like I'm not just an entrepreneur. I feel like I'm a kingdom entrepreneur, because at the end of the day, it's all for God. I feel like money is a byproduct. I feel like exposure is a byproduct. I feel like being an entrepreneur, it's how can other people hear about the gospel of Jesus through my brand.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight to Real Talk with Jean Price. We have a wonderful show that is scheduled for you tonight. Listen, you still have time to tell your friends, your family. We want you to like, we want you to share. We want you to invite people to come on in. Listen, we have some exciting things that's going to be planned. We want you to hold on and watch what's going to happen in the spring. We have some new and exciting features that are going to be done. And we can't wait for you to see it, our viewing audience. We have so many good things to support. I've had some of you say to me, you would like our signature t-shirt. Listen, you have an opportunity to get a t-shirt. It will be right there for you. If you would like one, please reach out to me and my team at Real Talk at sobeitmedia.com. That's Real Talk at sobeitmedia.com. And we will get the information for you. And we would love for you to maybe, wear the shirt on the show one day. So we want you to show your support for us. And we're so grateful for that tonight. We have been celebrating all month long women in business, women that have so many amazing stories. And today is the last day of the month, and we are going to continue in what we're doing. It is so important to understand. And one of the things that I teach when I go out to speak or whenever I'm talking to women, it's very important to celebrate each other. I am a firm believer that celebrating another woman is the most exuberating thing that you can do. Coming from the background that I come from, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to look at your failures. I know what it's like to look at your disappointments. But I also know what it's like when another woman gets up under you and encourages you and tell you you can make it, give you a little words of wisdom, let you know you're not alone, just encouraging you, letting you know that, you know what, if you can make it, I can make it, pulling somebody else up. One of the things that God gave me when I was taping my show years ago, I was literally in the middle of recording a show, and God dropped this motto in my heart, and I carry it wherever I go. I've copywritten it. It's on my logo. It's on all my letterhead. And that motto is, the best that we will ever be is what we allow each other to become. And that is so important, to allow each other to develop, to grow, to prosper into everything God has planned for us. Saying that, I am extremely excited to introduce my guest tonight. She is young. She is an entrepreneur. She has a vision. She has a plan. And when I look at her and I look at what she's doing, it speaks loud volumes. It lets everyone know that, you know what? It doesn't matter how old you are, but you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce my guest tonight. Thank you, Lord, and audience, excuse me, help me welcome Reggie Michelle to Real Talk with Jean Price.
Hi, everybody. Good
Hi.
evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we are so excited to have you on the show. We can't wait to dive into this conversation. First of all, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Reggie Michelle, but most people call me Ray. In my day-to-day, I do work in human resources for a nonprofit organization, helping people who've been, incarcerated, or they Meals on Wheels, people, elderly. So it's a vast majority of things that I do as far as my 9 to 5 in HR. But at the nighttime, I do have my side businesses, which include Bomb.com hair. We provide hair. Also, a t-shirt company that I co-own with my best friend, Jenilyn Thomas, called Vertical Dominion, to spread the faith and the gospel through dope apparel. And I'm also a pastor at the Excelling Church. So that's a little
Well,
bit about me.
Well, that's a little to you, but it's a lot that you have going on. And at such a young age, meaning that you're a visionary. And I love that because it lets everyone know it doesn't matter how old you are, but when there's that creativity and that vision that's down inside of you, it can come forth. But I want to get started by first, I want to ask this question. How do you take the time or how do you balance? Because I understand this firsthand. Business, how do you balance being working on a regular job? And then you have to balance ministry. How do you do it?
So that's a great question, because at first when I started everything, I was like, oh, I can do everything. And then God quickly showed me that you can do anything, but you're not meant to do everything. So I realized that it's not really a balancing act. Like, it's not 25% here, 25%, everything equally. There's some seasons where I see that God is pushing me to focus in a certain area. So when I seek the Lord, like, okay, God, which area of business, which area of my life do you want me to focus on? Because I used to try to balance it all. I used to try to do everything, and it would burn me out. I would find myself doing nothing. I would take a look at what's my task for the day, try to divide everything equally. And it was just a fail. It would overwhelm me just thinking about it.
Mm,
So I'm one of those people, like, I'm very task oriented. I like to write down everything I'm going to do,
yes,
and I love to see everything checked off. I
yes,
love to see
yes.
it. And
Oh, I get it.
it started to get to the point where it's like certain things just wasn't getting checked off for days and then weeks. So it's for me, it's like, okay, God, what is it that you want me to focus on in this season? Do I have to put something down for a season? Do I need to get help in
Mm,
a certain area so that somebody else can run it for a little bit? What is it that you see fit? So I had to stop trying to quote unquote balance and really ask God, what's the focus?
wow, that's good. Erica chimed in and she said she is very organized. Thank you, Erica. And I can
Thank you, Dee.
and I can tell Erica just by sitting here talking to Regine that she's definitely very organized. I want to go back a little bit, Regine, and I want to kind of reverse it a little bit, though we started talking about your businesses, and I'm going to go in a little more with that. But I want to first start with ministry because ministry is where my heart is, and I want to talk about when on the intro you said you are a pastor, and I want to kind of talk a little bit about how did that come into being.
Woo! Well, I'm in church right now. I don't know if you guys can hear the melodic tunes as we're preparing for Easter. But
Yes,
when God wants you somewhere, whether you want to be, He will just take you by the ponytail and be like, "Come on,
that's it.
let's go."
Right, right.
And that's what happened to me. I was working with children in a former church, and that's where God had put me. But when I came to excelling, I went through a couple of things. I'll say it that way. And when I got to excelling, I said, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna listen, hear the word, and I'm gonna go home at the end of it. I don't want to work. I don't want to be in ministry at all. And I just really have this heart for kids, like young people.
Mm,
And my pastor came to me, and actually, I came to my pastor. I went to my pastor and I said, it would be so dope, Pastor. I said, it would be so dope if we had an event, an event where we could rap and we could sing and do all these things.
right.
And he was like, oh, that's a great idea, Regine. You should run it. I was like, what you mean? No, no, no.
Well,
I
you
was just
set
saying that to
yourself up.
you.
You set yourself up for that one. Okay.
I did. I didn't know what I was dealing with at the time. I was like, okay.
Right.
I was going to ask him just generally. So, and I just wanted to rap. I'm not a rapper by any means, but I wanted to. There was this inkling to just rap the gospel. I was like, okay, I want to try this. Just my first time, and that was the platform that was provided. So he really, my pastor is somebody who's just like, okay, I trust you with this vision. You go ahead and run with it. So I created this event for the young people. There was no youth pastor minister at the time, and it was for back to school. And it was a great event. Lots of kids came out, and my pastor, he was just like, okay, I was like, okay. And
Right.
he said, the Lord said, and when when you start off with the Lord said, I said, oh Lord. And he
Oh my
really talked about the Lord and having me in the position of ministry.
God.
And at first I was mad at God. I was like, God, why did you say that to my pastor? Like, why would you
Right.
tell him about me? And I said, let me pray. Because my first answer in my mind, my heart was like, no, I'm not doing this. You know, I've been sitting here for about several months, and
Mhm.
I wasn't even a partner yet. And he said, you know, I listened to what pastor said, prayed about it, and then I came back and I said, okay, I'll be the youth leader. And that's how it started in 2017. I was a youth leader up until about February 2019 when I was ordained as a pastor. So it really was just kind of just pulled into it. I wasn't even a partner. I just went from partner to youth leader, just like that. But it's been a great journey. Like it's, you know, working with kids of all ages. They are so funny, so entertaining. But it's been a joy, you know.
That's beautiful. You know, you use a keyword in the intro and also just now, and I want to talk about that for a second. You use the word journey. Why do you call it a journey?
Because I feel like it's more of a ride than it is a destination. I used to look at life like this is where I need to be. And I had to really change my perspective of life, like even love, like, right? Sometimes, like, oh, I want to be in love. And then it's like, okay, you love somebody and you get there, it's like, there's more to this. So I look at, you know, business, ministry, my life, relationships as a journey. It's a vehicle, more of a driver than a destination. So along the way, you enjoy the route, you look at the trees, you look at the sunset, um, and you enjoy. And even on your bad days, you find the good in that, the fact that you had a day. So I
Yeah,
really call it a journey because it's just always moving. It's always something along the road.
that's good. That's good. You know, as you were talking, Regine, I thought about the impact that you're making in the lives of God's children. And we all are God's children, but in this case, you're working with the youth. Has any of the children ever came up to you and shared with you what kind of impact you're making in their lives?
Ooh, okay. Well, that's a great question. I did stop working with the youth. I think 2020. Um,
Oh, okay.
I became an associate pastor in 2020, and I also assisted director of ministries. But I do remember so many times where we would sit down, especially when we have like girl talks. You know, I want not our group,
Mhm.
but our communities, where we're just talking openly and transparently to each other. And they would say like, I don't have nobody to really talk to about this, or you
Mm,
know,
okay.
sometimes I feel like we can overcomplicate church, right? We can overcomplicate God, and there's times where people be like, I know so much about church. I know so much about what I'm supposed to wear and what I'm not supposed to wear, how I'm supposed to sit, and you know how I'm supposed to look. But
Mhm.
I don't know about Jesus. Like I really don't know the story of Jesus, how he was, you know,
Yes.
born,
Yes.
the very, very bare minimum. So sometimes even with the youngest of the children, I'll sit down and break it down in baby bites, you know. This is Jesus, his mother. This is his earthly mother. This is his, you know, his stepfather, earthly father. You know, this is
Mhm.
the Godhead three in one. Like this is why Easter is significant. Think very simple things that you could be in church your whole life and don't know.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. That's so true. And you know, even as you're talking, I was again, Erica chimed in and she said, all the children love you. They just adore you. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. And you know what? That's so good because, and let me tell you why I asked that question. Because if you're making that kind of impact in the spirit realm,
Hmm.
I can only imagine because that's first and foremost in our lives. That's the preeminence, right?
Right.
But imagine the impact that I see and hear you're making in the natural realm. And saying that as you're on your journey, as you put it, I want to find out exactly how did you get into bomb.com. And before you do that, somebody wrote, Prandy wrote, Ray quote, it's more of a ride than a destination. Thank you for putting that in the chat, Prandy, because it's really true. And I'm glad that she did say that. It really is more than a ride than a destination. I wanted to mention that because that was really good. But I want you to talk, I want to know, how did you get into bomb.com?
Ooh, okay. Wait, this is 2021. So it started in 2017. Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Yes, shout out to So Be It who really put this together. Should I talk over this? Continue?
You can, you can, you
Okay,
can. We just
okay.
wanted to give the audience another glimpse of the beautiful work that you're doing. And I'm going to let you continue. But I also want you to talk about the young lady. And that's what I'm talking about, impact. Because you're
Okay,
inspiring, you're
okay,
making an impact, and you're making a difference. So I'll let you go ahead.
okay. So it started in 2017. That's when that was the inception of the business. But one thing about vision, and you said this like earlier, we were talking about this. God can give it to you at any age. And for me, it was younger, but it was like society that was like hair, hair extensions, things like that. Society can rob you so easily of your vision, and it'll tell you what you ought to be, what you ought to do, and how you ought to do it. So
Mhm.
really, from when I was younger, I had the vision to, I just love hair. My mom would go to work. She was a home health aide, and she would come home in the morning after we go to school. So my dad would try to do my hair. My dad would try to do my sister hair, and it was bad. It was a hot mess. And I was like, all right, I got to figure out how to do this. We were like in elementary school. So I started to do her hair, and I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. Just, trying different things, putting beads in her hair. And I started to grow a love for it. But again, like, society, the world can be a vision killer, So I was like, all right. As I started to get older, I said, I'll be a doctor. And it wasn't until I was in college, I was like, oh, I'm in my fourth year. I'm doing my internship. I'm bio pre med, and I'm in the hospital, and I'm like, oh, I don't like blood. I don't like this. So I had to switch it so quickly because I just didn't have that love and that passion for it. And then while I was in college, I just had really bad horror stories. A lot of times, the things that we create are birthed out of desperation or birthed out of this painful place. And that's what happened to me. I would get my hair done, I would get a great stylist, and it would look good for the first day. And I would go to school, a predominantly white school, and they don't understand, natural hair. They don't understand weaves. They don't understand, how to really do that. They would try their best. And, I would just 1 week later look like a bird's nest in the back. And I was like, man, there has to be better hair than this.
Right.
As a college student, I want to focus on my studies. And I got to walk around with this bird's nest for, I don't know how, a whole part of a semester. God, this can't be life. And I think the straw that really broke the camel's back was when I was always a hard worker. So I would have like 2 or 3 jobs at a time and go to school. And I had got my hair, my bundles or my hair wet, and I had a white turtleneck on. And when it got wet, it was this green stuff that was like dripping out of my hair. And I said, well, what is this? And it was all over my white, turtleneck. And I said, I worked so hard, my JC Penney job, my
Right.
FYE job, Macy's. I was on all of this just to have garbage in my hair. And I said, God, this cannot be life. And I worked on the vision for a while, and it was 2017 when I finally birthed it. And I said, I'm just gonna do it. I don't have capital, I don't have, investors, I don't have a lot of money, but
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go forth. And since then, it's been an amazing journey. And the part of it that I love so much is the mentorship that was birthed out of it. So I wanted to have so many aspects. Like our mission is to provide quality hair and empower
Right.
women. Because
Right.
when you look good, like, you
Yeah.
feel good,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It's really,
know?
yeah, it's true.
Like,
You know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. It's a direct impact sometimes. And so sometimes it's just that confidence of knowing that you don't have a ball in the back of your head. So again, the mission is to really empower women, quality extensions, but a part of that empowerment is resources, providing education, a platform that talks about things that impact Black women. So, like on my blog, that's the platform that I use. I try to integrate it with Instagram, but we talk about women's health, breast cancer. My mom is a breast cancer survivor. It runs in our family. We talk about Breonna Taylor. We talk about things that impact women, and I really love. It's so dear to my heart. The mentorship program. The
Yeah.
mentorship program, and that's something that we started about October of last year. We actually have 2 girls in it now. They're both 16 years old. We actually meet every Wednesday. I told them to tune in today as
Good.
part of
Yes.
your
Yes.
assignment.
Right.
So hopefully you guys are watching. I love you guys.
Awesome.
Um, Yeah, and every week we come together. We do start off with prayer. We talk about the Bible. You know, I tell them, anybody who's interested, it is biblically, it's God is the foundation.
That's
So
right.
like we studied Esther one week, and why she was a leader, why she was powerful, why she was bold, and then we bring it to the natural world. You know what it means to be a woman with a voice, a woman in leadership. You know, last week we talked about vision boards. What is your vision? What do you see yourself? Because at that age, we're not always talking about that. You
Right.
know, we sat down and really actually put pictures together. Like, this is what I want. And I said, don't be humble, don't be modest.
Right.
Tell God what you want.
Hmm.
Um, and the week before that, we actually talked. We had Tanisha on the show, who does makeup, and we talked about beauty, but not just outward beauty. We talked about inward beauty, what the Bible says about beauty, how the Bible defines beauty, and how that relates to us. So that's my baby. I'm still figuring it out as I go. That's another journey for me.
You know, that's so interesting, Regina. As you're talking, I'm sitting here, excuse me, and I'm looking at you, and you remind me of a younger version of myself.
Oh my God.
And let me tell you why I say that, because I'm sitting here looking at you and I'm going, that's how my journey, since we're talking about journeys and roads and destiny and getting there, that's how it started, by just being a mentor for one person.
Wow.
Being able to see somebody's life, and well, let me start here. When I came out of what I came out as a child, my story about abuse and everything, I said to the Lord, all I want to do is give back for what you have already done for me. And Regine, it was just one person to mentor, and I watched God take my world and turn it upside down. And I was just on it, I had to minister Monday night for a women's group. And one of the things I say, and I give all credit to Bishop Jakes because this is from Bishop Jakes. Bishop Jakes said, follow your passion, you'll find your purpose.
Ooh.
And that has carried me for years. And this is years ago, because I believe, of course, it all starts from God. While we were in our mother's womb, God knew us, He called us, He ordained us before the foundation of the world. That's how it all started. But when you have that heart that I hear coming out of you to go back and be there for other women, I'm just sitting here going, wow, 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 this is so good. And then you and I were talking back about being entrepreneurs. It is just absolutely something I never could have imagined in my life to be able to do. And then look at you, that I literally can be your mom, to be, stepping out there on an entrepreneurship way, and just watch God just check off everything, just checking. It's awesome. So I'm going to go back to the story, but I want to encourage you to keep going, keep allowing God to lead and guide you in all the things that He has for you to do. Because what does the scripture tell us? We've never seen a righteous forsaken, right? Nor his seed begging for bread. So, it's just so awesome. So I want to go back for a second about the mentorship. On the video, there was one young lady. How did you pick her? How did she find you? Because I don't believe things are happenstance. I don't believe in that. I believe things are ordained. And there's a big difference between happenstance and ordained.
Mm. Ooh, so it's the young lady with the yellow hair, and she has like a pink
Yes.
one. Yeah, I think they're gonna play the clip. Her
Yes.
name is Marissa Michelle, and she pursued me. I know her from church. The first I know her mom. I know her family. I love them all, and I remember I came to her when I was the youth leader. And I asked her to minister in church. I said, could you just sing a song? And she was very nervous, very shy, and she did it. And her music stopped working. She had to be like 13, maybe 12 years old. Her music stopped working. And she went forth and did it a cappella. And I remember, to me, it sounded so beautiful. And I remember she said, I cracked, like her voice cracked or something like that. And I said, when did you crack? I didn't even notice it. It was just
Right.
so pure, so beautiful. And I said, there's just something so special about her. And I got to know her just over time. Like, she would do different things in the ministry. Like, her heart was always in it. She was always, just so funny and enthusiastic. And then she watched me start the business. She watched me, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, and she started to write me. And she would be like, so I just want to know, how's your business going? I want to know, do you need help with anything? I was thinking about you. And I'm like, what is that? And I was so overwhelmed with
Oh,
life. Like, I'm like, oh man, I want to do something with her. I don't know what to do. I don't have time to teach. I don't have time to pour in. God, show me a way. And I said, and one thing I always want, especially if somebody wants to work with me, I want that person to seek me out. I want them to say, this is what I want, as opposed to, this is what I see you doing.
right.
And she was so passionate. And that's really how it started, with her just, besides our ministry relationship, it was her saying, I want to be a part of this. I want to do this.
Right. Have you ever felt like you wanted to quit?
Oh my, yes.
Yeah.
I did quit. I did, kind of. I did
Okay.
quit in 2000, I think 18 or 19. I was telling this story during a Bible study. And what happened was, business was just not good. Like, I started, and I thought that once you have a great product, once you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. And that's really only half of the,
right,
I guess, the saying, because it's not really true. You have to market. You have to remarket. You have to communicate with potential clientele. You have to put ads out there. You have to put, your all into it. It's a machine that you have to continue to oil. And I didn't understand that. I said, I'm gonna have a great, website. I said, that's all I gotta do. I'm gonna have hair. Everyone's hair. And I was in an overly saturated market, because everybody sells hair. You can go down the street and there's beauty supply stores. It's not hard to get into selling hair extensions. It's hard to be competitive and stay in it and scale up. And so it was my first year, the first few months. And I think I made, between September and January of the following year, months, I think I made like $90.
Wow.
That means somebody bought maybe a bundle and a half. You know what I mean? Like, that was it.
Right.
I was looking at myself and I said, well, what am I doing this for? And I didn't understand marketing at that time. And I just was, pushing it out on my own personal, mostly platform, Instagram. And there was just so much I had to learn. There was a huge learning curve through experience. And I just said, you know what? When it comes time to renew my platform, my website, it was hosted by Shopify. I said, I'm not going to pay it. I don't even have money. Like, I'm using part of my checks from my day job. At that time, I think I was a human resources assistant before I was what I am now as a director. And I didn't really have a lot of money. So I said, this is just a very expensive hobby. I'm not going to do this. And I didn't renew it. And a whole week went by, and Shopify, they emailed me. They said, your account is frozen, insufficient funds, just like that. And I was like, okay. And my best friend came in the room. And she said, hey, Ray, somebody's looking for you. I was like, looking for me? They was like, they're looking for your website. They're trying to buy some hair, but they can't find it. They want to just look at it. I said, somebody's looking for me? That's all I heard.
Right, exactly.
I said, somebody's looking for me. God, somebody's looking for something I did, something I created, something that you brought vision into me to do.
That's right.
And here I am. I'm not existing. I'm not out there. So I said, oh my God. So I said, best friend, I don't have, it was $32 to renew the domain. Not even the domain, just the monthly fee.
Yes.
And I said, I don't have $32. I said, can I borrow $32? Can I borrow your card?
Right.
And she said, yeah. She gave me a card and I renewed it. The person went on. And it was history from there. And I said, all right, I know it looks rough from now. And I did quit. Like, I did not renew it. It was like a whole week and some change that went by. But somebody was looking for me. Something I did, something I created.
That's powerful.
Just my motivation to just keep going.
That's powerful. JT chimed in and he said, she did it herself. I'm so proud. He also said, two of my favorite people in the world. Wow, JT, we still know you're out there. But I like what JT said. Thank you so much, JT. And that was so encouraging to say that he's so proud of you, Regine, for what you've done. We're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
I have a very interesting question I'm going to ask Regine when we come back from the break. But I want you to stay tuned. You still have time. Listen, we want you to share. We want you to like. But you just come on back to Real Talk with Jean Price. We'll be right back. Have you been enjoying the show? Make sure you comment and like. Tell us what you want to talk about. It might be featured on the next Real Talk with Jean Price.
we couldn't have planned Real Talk to be the way that it is. When God dropped that in my heart, I knew there was something of greater substance that was going to come forth from it. I had no idea on the first time we promoted, we had over 2,000 views, like out of nowhere, to the point I was really, really surprised. But on the other side of it, the discussions of being able to be honest about how we've been feeling in the pandemic, how you feel about debt, how you feel about what's going on in the world with restaurants and anxiety, really being able to talk about honest, truthful things, man, this has been the way to go.
I love helping people, and I love helping them, see my journey. So it really feels good. Like even now, today, I have an intern with me. She's 16 years old, and she's interested in getting into beauty. And I'm pouring into her as much as I can. So it feels good, and I feel like I'm not just an entrepreneur. I feel like I'm a kingdom entrepreneur, because at the end of the day, it's all for God. I feel like money is a byproduct. I feel like exposure is a byproduct. I feel like being an entrepreneur, it's how can other people hear about the gospel of Jesus through my brand.
Welcome back to Real Talk. We're having a great discussion with the guest tonight, Michelle. I'm so sorry. She is, listen to this, she is the CEO of Bombcom. She has a successful blog. She's the co-founder of Vertical Dominion Apparel Christian Line. And most of all, she is a pastor at a selling church under Pastor Terrell and Jasmine Solomon. So I am so excited. I want to bring back my guest tonight. Reggie, come on back to Real Talk. The guests are waiting. I'm waiting. We're having such a great discussion tonight. Thank you so much. Before we went to commercial break, I have to tell you, a thought popped into my mind, and I said I had to ask this question. One of my favorite movies is literally Napoli Ever After with Sanaa Lathan. I don't know if you ever saw this movie. And in the movie, she first of all, she's absolutely a beautiful Black woman, and she's always had this beautiful hair, like in real life and on the movie regime. I don't know if you know, she took the razor and she cut and shaved all her hair off. And in the movie, she did it, and she talked about how liberating it is. And the reason I'm talking about it, because like myself, I decided to cut all my hair off. So many of us have decided to just go natural, and I did, not because she did, but I really did feel free. I guess I felt free from perms and free from hot curls and stuff like that. And the reason I'm asking the question is because your business is so successful that a lot of people, natural hair like mine no longer, but yet they'll go and they'll wear wigs and extensions, and which I love. How would you help somebody like me? Because I'm the kind of person where I shy away from that. And I don't, like I'd say, well, why won't I wear a wig? Or why won't I get extensions? Your hair, first of all, is very beautiful.
Thank you.
Why won't I do it? How would you encourage me? Like, come on, Lady Price, you can do this. How do you encourage me to do something like that?
I love this question a lot, because for me, it was quite the contrary, where people had an issue. Well, I guess it was similar, where people had an issue, guys I was dating, with weaves and wigs, or vice versa. You should wear weaves or wigs. And part of the brand of Bomb.com hair is you're beautiful, period. Hair just helps to enhance that, if that's what you choose to do. But we're so much more than hair. That's actually part of our slogan, more than hair.
Okay.
So I think it's very interesting, because it really, I don't think people understand that it's your choice. Don't let society tell you should wear it like this, you should do this. So if you see me like on a month, you might see me with this hair, you might see me with burgundy hair. My real hair, when I wear my bangs, might be out.
Right.
My hair is natural. I wear an afro, and I love it. Like, I love that I can choose whatever I want. Like, the brand is founded on Isaiah 62:3. It says, "You are a crown of beauty in the hand of the Lord, a royal diadem in the hand of God." So
I
in
love
his hands, it's beautiful. It's not like how you wear your hair or how you don't wear it. Whether you're bald, you have a Caesar, you have long hair, you wear a big afro. It's totally up to you. And for women who are interested in weave or extensions but aren't really familiar,
it. Hmm.
I try to I try to provide a solution for them if that's what they want to do. I let them know we have all kind of textures. Some women are like, I don't want to wear weave that's just bone straight. I feel like that doesn't look like my hair. Okay, we have very natural textured extensions. We have some women will wear hair extensions just because they have a busy lifestyle. So
Yeah.
sometimes their hair extensions are shorter than their real hair. I've
Right.
wear bobs that are shorter than my actual hair.
Right.
So sometimes it's a maintenance thing. They want to grow their hair. But for anybody who has questions about it, we do have our blog which talks about wigs, which talks about if you want to do hair extensions, this is what a hair extension is. One of my first books is actually free. It's like a little guide. It's Hair Extensions 101. What is a weave? What is a wig?
Right. Right.
What are bundles? Why do they call it a bundle?
Right.
What's the sewing?
Right.
So, we have that, but we're trying to expand also to. No, we're going to, guys. Manifest it, speak it. We're
That's it.
going to, expand into products. We have accessories. So maybe if they want to do it like this that I'm wearing here, a little crown tiara.
Very pretty.
You know, different hair products like oils or maybe lashes if that's what they're into, and also entrepreneur resources. So like I also do like consultation if somebody wants to go into the hair business or go into the beauty industry, because it's tough. It's a tough game, I'll tell you that much. It's dog eat dog out there.
Wow.
I provide that as well in like vendor books and things like that.
You said something that's so powerful, and I thank God for that. That a woman, what you're doing, in other words, is allowing a woman to not only see that she can be and have what she wants, but it's like what you're doing is you're showing a woman that she can accept herself. That's really what I'm trying to say, and I think that is so powerful. Now, when I was younger, weaves were like taboo, if I could use that word, because back then, and I'm in my 50s, but back then it was like you go get a weave, you had to hide. I promise you.
Yes.
I remember years, and I can laugh about it now because I'm very confident in myself as a Black woman. But I remember, like, I didn't want my husband, don't touch my hair, don't touch my hair. I didn't want him to touch my tracks. Because it was such a thing back then. Like everything was such a big secret. You didn't want people to know you had a wig on. And it's so liberating to see that there is an entrepreneur, that there's a company out there, bomb.com. You not only sell the hair, the bundles and so forth, but you also teach the maintenance. You teach what it's like as a woman to celebrate herself. If this is what you want to do, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine too. And I love the fact that you're bringing in that element to it. And I think it makes oh no, I know. It makes a difference. It makes a true difference when a woman is transitioning. Because when I transitioned from permed hair after I had the stroke last year to May of last year, I said, I'm cutting all my hair off. That's just, well, I was, still recovering. But if I would have known, I probably, I should have called you. Should be like, Regine, you know me, Lady Price. I think I'm going to try a wig while I'm transitioning. So I'm just saying that it's really good to know that that's what you're doing. Now, what about even women that are going through, that are my age, but are going through the change of life? And when they're going through change of life, they get thinning hair. Their hair starts to change. Their hair starts to fall out. It gets a little brittle. And say some of the podcasts or things that you're going to be doing, can you speak to the fact that you're able to help middle-aged women as well? That, because life changing hormonal is a big part of life.
No, that's really good because, well, even to piggyback on one of the things that you said earlier, you said it was very taboo to wear like weaves, like a young person wearing a wig. Like that was like high school. You had a wig on. You were the joke of the class.
I could imagine.
Wig. Like that's exactly how it would go. They would
Wow.
try to pull it off. Now you see a whole demographic of like high school, high school with lace frontals. You know what I mean? Pink hair. It's obvious it's a wig. Beautiful. It looks beautiful, but the culture of hair has really changed dramatically. the acceptance of it has too. I went through the natural era. Like I had an afro for like a whole year until I was like, when it got longer, I couldn't actually maintain it. But to speak to your question, one of the things that I'm learning in business is learning how to cater to my audience or my demographic. So when I went into Bomb.com hair, I was like, I'm gonna sell hair to everybody. And that's what it is, everybody can use some hair. And I had to learn to focus, learn how to brand, learn how to communicate, speak the right language to whoever my target audience is. And I'm glad you asked the question, because one of the demographics I do want to get into is the demographic that you speak of, women who may have thinning hair, even women who have hair issues like traction alopecia. My mom, when she had cancer, she went through radiation therapy and chemotherapy. All of it, we just had to cut off bald. And I don't think people know, you don't just lose hair here, you lose hair on your eyebrows, like everything. And as a woman, it impacts how you feel. And so, that's another phase of the business that I just got to get into. When I first got into the business, that really is what I wanted to do, is really provide the highest in hair. And I will, it's going to happen. Provide the highest in hair and just specialize in those wigs that are just ready to put on. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the next phase of it, of really just hair that will sit on a scalp that may be itching, sit on a scalp that has gone through so much, and it's so easy to maintain it, and it's already customized. Many of our products you usually will put into for a sew-in, or you'll go to a salon and have it, customized, very easily customized. But that's another, that's another phase of it, that I'm really, really excited about.
That's beautiful. Again, in your intro, I was listening intently. You said that it's not just entrepreneurship, but it's kingdom entrepreneurship. And there is a difference. My pastor, my husband, of course, he's now Bishop Price, has been teaching our church for months, Regime, about being a sustainer. And one of the things in my house, because that's for me and my house, what we try to do is not just be blessed, but we want to be a blessing. So when you say kingdom entrepreneurship, from one entrepreneurship to another, what do you mean by that?
So I did a class, a small group class in my church, where we kind of really talked about that. And it even opened my eyes as the teacher to really dig deeper into kingdom entrepreneurship. Because when you're a kingdom entrepreneur, what you're doing, your main focus is, how does what I do, whether it brings profits in or not, how does what I do glorify God? How can it help bring more souls to the kingdom? How is what I'm doing making God smile? And so with everything that I do, I have to go back to that. I have to look back at my, when you're doing your business plan and you look at your stations and your principles, like it's all in there. And I always have to go back. And that's why we do them, so that we can always go back to, why are we existing in this area? Why are we creating this passion that we have? What is this purpose around it? So I always go back to it as a kingdom entrepreneur and say, how does this bless the kingdom and help to advance it? And then I believe and faithfully, with wisdom and strategy. Okay, God, the money is the byproduct. The exposure is the byproduct. Everything good that can come of it is the byproduct. But how is this helping you? Not that God even needs help, but how does this bring you glory? Amen. So that's what I mean by kingdom entrepreneurship.
I think that's beautiful. I mentioned sustainability because, like I said, we at least that's what we live by. We're always working toward being a blessing to somebody. So my husband and I, it's so funny, Reggie, we were talking last night in Bible study. We come straight from the hood. No, really, I'm being honest. We're from Hempstead, and my husband and I, you and I, we're going to listen, audience, thank you for chiming in, but Regine and I are going to continue our conversation when we're done offline, because we have so many similarities. It amazes me, but yet I still say she can be my daughter, because she's one of my daughter's ages. But we take a look, Regine, at our lives, and we're going, we were slated. I ministered the other night, and really quickly, I was talking in the Word of God about how when the woman with the alabaster box, right, when she went and she went to go anoint the Lord. The Pharisee that was in the house, I'm gonna paraphrase it, was saying, if he was a real prophet, he would know that this woman is a sinner. This woman is an outcast. And the reason for me bringing that up to you, because it's going to tie into entrepreneurship, is that that's how people saw us. Which from the hood of Hempstead, people saw us as an outcast. People saw us as sinners. People said there'll never be anything. And I love you. And the reason I'm saying it because I love your mindset about kingdom entrepreneurship. That when God first showed my husband that as the head of my home, what it's like to be an entrepreneur, when I gravitated to it, it made a whole lot of sense now and in this, the last couple of years, why God has done what he's done in our lives. People like us are normally people that people stay away from, like I said, there'll never be anything. But then somebody like you, God will touch your heart and have you be a blessing to someone else. It just blows my mind. I feel like I'm talking in circles because I'm so in awe of how God does this. He takes somebody, downloads a vision of creativity in them, and then he touches it like that. And that bring forth kingdom entrepreneurship. And we've been truly blessed to be entrepreneurs. Now, and I think you touched on this, an entrepreneurship doesn't mean that, oh, you're going to get quick money. It doesn't mean that. It does not mean that. Listen, I understood about the $32 when you was talking about it. It doesn't mean that you get quick money. It means that you take the vision that God has given you and it's used as a blessing for someone else. So I just want to go a little further because our time is winding down. If you're young in business and in ministry. How do you take both of those and then use them together?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because you're very successful, I'm just saying, in both. You really are. So how are you? And I know we talked about balance, but now I want to talk about blending.
It's so funny because it just ends up intertwining all
That's
the
it.
time. And that must be God, because it really does start to almost gel and go into one another. Like even this opportunity, I've watched you, I've seen you, I know you through my best friend. And even when, I was given the opportunity, I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, I was just very excited. And at the end of the day, even though we're talking about Bomb.com hair, we're still on a platform that glorifies God, So it just, I don't know how it just always intertwines. Even when I'm at church, we have these events where we're talking about our businesses, but it goes into one another. And it's funny because even when I became the assistant director of ministries, one of the associate pastors, I also got promoted on my job.
Wow.
And at the same time, I saw another increase in my business, in my revenue, and it was just like all parallel. Like as God advanced me in one area, like sometimes, I'll just be focused on ministry. Like, okay, somebody needs me. I need to pray with somebody. I need to do something that helps advance the kingdom. God is like taking care. He's like taking care of the business. Like even now I'm looking at this year, like January 1 was one of the greatest sales days, of all my years. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't understand. And it's just God, you take care of his kingdom, he gonna take care of your business. Yes. You take care of God's business, he gonna take care of it. And it just always seems to be parallel and happening at the same time.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. I just want to talk very quickly. I hate we're out of time soon because I'm enjoying myself. Just tell us a little bit about the Vertical Dominion Apparel Christian line. Tell us that. How'd you even create that?
Sure. So that's me and my best friend, Jenilyn Thomas. We co-own it. We have a partnership. And Vertical Dominion, it's faith-inspired, faith-based apparel. So everything that we have, hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, it's to really glorify God. So it's, very bold, simple statements. Like one of our designs is like a barcode, and it talks about how we're priceless. We're not bought with a price, and it's like the play on the imagery. So everything that we do is to, glorify God, that's our purpose. But it was birthed again out of like desperation. My best friend, I started designing a design. We both design things, but I started designing a design for Bomb.com hair, which was Crown of Glory. And it was Isaiah 62:3 again. It just came up like, you are a crown of beauty, a crown of glory in the hand of God. And I'm designing it. I'm showing it to her, and she said, "Oh, perfect. I'm gonna wear this." I said, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "I have to sing." Jenilyn is a singer,
Yes.
and she was like, "I need to go out and I need to sing, and we never have the clothes like that. Like it's always only one type of design that's really out there,
Mm-hmm.
or I have to probably be really suited up." And she's like, "I'm young. I want to look nice, and I'm looking for something that everybody in the band could wear." And I said, "All right, let's just order it." And we just ordered it from this third party. She got all it was 5 shirts, and everybody was like, "Where did you get that shirt?" And I said, "Best friend." And I started talking to her about different business models that I was just looking at that just kept coming up on YouTube. Like I'm a big researcher, so I would just research like ways that we could do this while still living life as far as a job and a career. She's a nurse, and it was just different ways of putting items out there for people to buy. So we researched it and we said, "All right, let's do it." And when we did it, it was just like so much joy and fulfillment. Just even yesterday, I was on Instagram and I saw somebody with the shirt on. It was like in her profile.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know, just the fact that I randomly see people on my timeline and feed wearing the shirt or wearing something from our brand, and then it represents God. It's a
Amen.
conversation starter.
Amen. If you all can hear me, I lost audio with Regine. Can you hit the button? No. No. While you can keep working on it while Regine is trying to fix her audio. She was talking about her T-shirt. She was talking about the vision of it. I hope you can hear me, Regine, and you can continue fixing it. Okay. Okay, our technicians are also working on it as well. While she's working on that, listen, this has been an awesome, awesome show. Keep working on it. I just want to say this has been great. And listen, we also have T-shirts. It's a signature of Real Talk with Jean Price, and it has been great. It was designed, and if you would like one, we are telling everyone, please, you can go to Real Talk at sobeitmedia.com. That is actually a character of me because we believe being real is our power. And we have already received orders that people wanted. We have already, we're getting it all together. So again, you have an opportunity to go to Real Talk at sobeitmedia.com if you would like one. We also are so glad we are featured on YouTube and Facebook. And guess what? Real Talk is now featured on the Inspired Living Network. And it is such a great opportunity. We can be seen every Friday at 1 o'clock. And of course, please join us always on Real Talk with Jean Price every Wednesday at 6:30, where we come on and we talk about real stuff and we get to the heart of the matter. We have some great shows that are going to be coming up in April, and we are glad about that. And I'm going to see if the audio is back for Regine. All right. There you are, Regine. Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you
All
hear
right.
me? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Listen, it's okay. It's okay to have technical difficulties. We wanted to wait until you came back on. Can you just give us another minute of briefly again about what you were saying? Because I think it's important to talk about, you were saying about the shirts and what it said that meant a lot to you. There you go. I hear.
Okay. So yes. So I was just saying that Vertical Dominion co-owned with me and my best friend, and the mission of it is really to spread the gospel through the apparel. It's meant to be a conversation starter. It's meant to stop people in the street and say, "What's your shirt about?" So our future endeavors or near future endeavors include, really expanding the line and really finding ways to, you know, I guess ways to for other people to rep Jesus too. That's
Thank
really
you.
what it's all about.
That's good. Thank you. Listen, if you want to hear more from Regine, you can go to bomb.com hair.com. So it's bomb.com, right?
Yes.
Bomb.com hair.com.
Yes.
What she's doing is phenomenal. She's also the president or co-founder of Vertical Dominion Apparel Christian line of shirts, as she was just explaining to us. She even has a successful blog. If you want to find her, you will find, I'm pretty sure on social media, you're going to find Regine. She is also, we mentioned, the pastor of a beautiful progressive church. Regine, thank you so much for being on Real Talk. You have been a blessing. It has
Thank
been
you
great.
for having me.
Oh,
Thank you.
it was my pleasure just to hear and see the vision that God has placed in your heart. And that's what it's about. Remember, the word of God tells us where there is no vision, the people perish. And it also says, write the vision and make it plain. So it's apparent that God has given her a vision and she is writing it very plainly. Thank you tonight for joining us on Real Talk with Jean Price. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, where we will have another show and we'll talk about some real stuff. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us.